Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi team. I'm Fitz Kohler, your very noisy race announcer from Fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. We've got a good one. At least I think so. Don't I always say that? Aren't I always like, this is going to be a great show? Just trying to lure you in. Is it working? Are you sitting in your car or running on the treadmill saying, yes, Fitz, give me more? I hope so. I aim to please. Okay, we're going to do some Q's and A's at the end, specifically targeting midnight munchies. I think that's my favorite question out of all of them. But before we get there, I'm going to tell you all the nonsense that's been going on in Fitzness because that's what I do. Starting with the fact that for the first time ever in the history of the world, are you ready for this drum roll? I have offered free shipping on my books from Fitzness.com. If you would like any of those for yourself or a loved one, perhaps someone going through cancer, well, you got free shipping if you go to Fitzness.com. And I sign all of those. So when you make the purchase, you can actually say, make these books out to Grandma or Walter or whatever you got. And of course, my noisy cancer comeback is not necessary. I mean, of course, cancer patients can enjoy it, but that's regular crowd with or without cancer. My noisy cancer comeback could be appropriate for you. It's my memoir. And I think it's funny. My 15 months of cancer care was fairly dramatic, including all the race announcing and travel, but I also think it was funny. So feel free to laugh at my wild ride on the cancer train if you get that book. But anyways, free shipping. Oh, and the discount code is free ship. That's it. Free ship, all together as one word with no spaces. Okay. Also, I have a new format of the Fitzness Show. Hopefully you've already heard it, right? Hopefully you're a total pro at the new format of the Fitzness Show, but I'm going to continue doing long format the way this show is. And then of course I have the Fitzy minis, which are maybe about 20-minute episodes. I'm hitting you with some content, but not going the full hour, 2 hours. And now I have pokes. And one of the things I love to do for people is just poke you in the chest and remind you what you're capable of, or remind you good habits versus not so good habits, or, just give you a little kick in the can. So those are pokes. I just published my first yesterday. It's a 5-minute show, 5 minutes. So something you can turn on and get the encouragement you need to do better and be better. And I have a whole bunch of topics I'm really excited about to share in those pokes. So I hope you'll listen. And if you enjoy my show, I hope you'll share it with others, because I want to help as many people as possible live better and longer, and I need to reach them. So if you feel compelled to share, I sure do appreciate. Jason and Michael and Dawn, I've seen your shares today, and I love you all. So that's that. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my book status. So I told you before I finished the manuscript. So that means I was done just vomiting out all the information into it's 34 chapters. And then there's a process of sharing that content with what I call beta readers. These are people I say, go through the book, rip it apart, tell me why you hate it. Give me all the bad news. Unfortunately, they all seem to really enjoy the book, but they've given me fantastic feedback. Fitz, you spelled this wrong, or you missed a word, or whatever. There's a whole bunch of nonsense that could happen when you're pumping out 70,000 words. And sometimes as quickly as I can. I try to be thoughtful about it, but it's a draft, right? You're writing the draft. I don't really nickel and dime myself. I just go blah, 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 blah. We'll fix it later if there's errors. So it's been through the beta reader stage, and I just had my nutrition chapter reviewed by Tara Collingwood, my favorite registered dietitian. She made some great suggestions, mostly nuance, like maybe you want to say it this way instead of that. And every suggestion she made, I agreed with. And I'm grateful she was willing to share her time and look at that. In fact, I'm going to have Tara back on the show very soon to talk nutrition. So if you have any high quality, high-end nutrition questions, or even lowbrow ones, send them my way and I'll talk about them with Tara. But anyway, so that's where the book is right now. I have just a few alterations to make, and then and then the photo shoot's coming up July 8th, Y'all, I hate it when people say, pray for me. I sprained my ankle. And I really don't want your prayers because you could use your prayers on other people with actual real problems. But I have my photo shoot for the exercise section of this book where I will do before, how to instructional exercise photos and descriptions. And I've mentioned this before, but I loathe photo shoots like I also loathe cockroaches, right? So if there were a big alligator chasing me and he had a swarm of mosquitoes as his backup plan, and then there were cockroaches in the alligator's mouth also chasing me, I loathe photo shoots more than the alligators and the mosquitoes and all those cockroaches. I just hate posing. Now, and I don't even like the word hate, but there I go. I'm using the word hate. So the only saving grace for this type of photo shoot is that I'm exercising, right? So I'm not trying to pose and smile and ham, which I can't stand doing. I'm just going to be exercising and trying not to make a stupid face. But I have a makeup artist. I have to get a makeup artist. I haven't even done that, but I have the perfect location. My gym, I'm a member of the Gainesville Health and Fitness Center, where I actually used to work there when I was in grad school. I believe it's a beautiful fitness center. In fact, it's not a beautiful fitness center. It's three beautiful fitness centers created by Joe Cerulli, who his story is so great. I'm going to ask Joe to be on my podcast soon. I'm sure he'll do so because he's so generous and kind, sharing his information. In fact, I'll tell you more about him later because someone asked a question where he's a relevant part of the answer. But three big centers, he just expanded the main gym. We call it the big gym or the main gym. Expanded it again, and so I went in to see the brand new expansions. And part of it is a huge personal training studio. And all of those trainers and those clients will really benefit from that room. It's gorgeous. And then there's a AstroTurf section upstairs, which is really large. And I love the AstroTurf. In fact, I love lying on it. Today I was doing push-ups and stuff. And given the chance, I don't use a mat. I mean, if it's a wooden floor and I'm doing crunches, of course I have to use a mat because my spine doesn't like wood. But AstroTurf, I just want to lie there face down. I just like the feel of AstroTurf and I want to rub it all over my body. I sound like a Looney Tunes, but yeah, it's so beautiful. And it's got all sorts of TRX machines for suspension training. It's a functional fitness room and has all sorts of tools. And I just really enjoyed myself. Now, I also take part in my monthly challenges. So we're doing the July 444 challenge this month. If you're not a part of the Hottie Body Fitzness Challenge, it's on Facebook. Join my group and the challenge is there. But it's 444 reps of push-ups and lunges and angry ups. And I can't remember the other things that are on the list, but I did a lot of them today because I truly benefit from my own challenges. I see my body changing dramatically as I push up and lunge and squat jump and do all of those things. So I was there working out today and I was thrilled. I wasn't thrilled. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, that gym is a 25. It's mind boggling. And I feel fortunate. I don't normally feel lucky. I feel like most things that are nice that I have, I earned but this one is just this wonderful innovator in fitness lives in my town and he created this masterpiece and he keeps making it better. And I get to play with it. It's a jungle gym for a grown up who loves fitness. So anyways, love doing that. But part of the new renovation is a hot yoga studio. Okay. If you've heard me say it before, you're going to hear it again. I love stretching. Yoga people drive me bonkers with their stupid lingo, right? The namaste and all the other garbage. Just talk English. We're in America. I mean, you know what? If my instructor were Hispanic and she was speaking Spanish, fine, I'd have no problem with that. But to bring in this other stupid lingo from, I'm guessing India or whatever, wherever yoga was founded, stop. Just say, have a good day. I don't need this namaste nonsense. And it makes me go. I'm going to go away from you because I don't like your lingo. But anyways, this yoga room is so beautiful and it was hot. And I walked in, it was empty when I got there, but I thought, wow, I want to take a class. And so his facility is so beautiful and so enticing that even I am willing to go tolerate stupid yoga lingo in order to just be in there and stretch. And so I'm excited about that. But the other thing is I was looking for a place to shoot these exercise photos for the next book, and the yoga studio is it. My book designer, my layout designer, he said, get light floor, light wall. You need lighter than you had for your healthy cancer comeback. And so this thing has light wood floor. This room has light wood floor and a white wall. It's just beautiful. And so I reached out to Joe tonight and I said, hey, Joe, can I use your room? He said, absolutely, it's yours. We'll make sure the heat is off, which, I mean, what a saint, what a saint to share. He's just such a good person. And then I also said, hey, Joe, have you lied down on your AstroTurf? And he said, no. I said, you have to do it. It feels so good. He said, okay, well, I'm going to do that when I exercise tomorrow, because if I get down in my shirt and tie, people are going to think I'm crocked. So tomorrow he has promised that as he's exercising, he will lie down on his AstroTurf and just enjoy the feeling. But I encourage you, if you have access to AstroTurf, I just think it feels good. Like the texture. I don't know. I'm weird. But so that's what you got to know. So the book is moving along. Once I have those photos taken, then I have to create the instructions that go along with them and then send them off to the book editor or the layout designer. And again, I'm aiming for October. That would make me very happy. So anyways, blah, blah, blah. The book is coming along. Don't pray for me, but hope that things go well. Send me good juju. And most importantly, I don't make a stupid face for those photos. Okay. So this weekend I was in Washington, D.C. for Mud Girl DC. Now, truth be told, Mud Girl will name their events to the name of the closest city, but they're almost never in those cities because we can't dig up property in the middle of, I don't know, New York City or Chicago. You have to go out to a motocross facility or an equestrian facility or a gun range. So it's quote unquote Mud Girl DC, but really we were about 50 minutes outside of DC in Maryland. But I arrived Friday and I did some stupid things. I've done some really dumb things in the past week, and I wanted to share them because they make me laugh. And not critical errors, but funny stuff. So I left the airport Friday at 2:30, rented my car, and I headed straight over to the Holocaust Museum. I've never been there, and I'm very well versed in the Holocaust. Very, just horrible, and I care so much about the victims, and I've met so many as a kid in South Florida, and so I've really wanted to go to this museum. And then I also this was my agenda, is go to that museum and then go to see the Lincoln Memorial and the Korean Memorials. Those are two of my favorites. So I go and I parked my car. I get pretty close to the Holocaust Museum, which is pretty fortunate in a town like DC. And it has the park mobile meters. And there's a sign next to my car that says park mobile 8 to 4 o'clock. Pay for parking here. And so it was $3.48 or $3.50, something like that. But like a good little soldier, I get out and I get on my app and I actually pay for an hour, even though there was only 10 minutes left. I thought, I'm going to be uber generous and just make sure I'm covered. So I pay for the hour. And then I realized, oh, crap. It has the license plate of my last rental car, not this rental car. And the app just saves whatever license tag you put in there. And so I hit payment before I changed the license plate. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, I've paid for a car that isn't even here. How do I go back and pay for this car? But it won't let me pay for another car because it's saying you're already paid for. And I couldn't undo it. I couldn't cancel it. It was just a little stupid thing. So I thought, all right, well, there's 8 minutes left. So I will just take my chances and go to the museum. So I'm going to leave it there. So I go over to the museum, and what I can tell you is that museum is pure agony. It is absolute torture. And the only thing I can compare it to is the 9/11 museum. It's beautifully done. And the stories are impeccably told. But I mean, I don't have words. It tells the story so well. So you feel it. So you see it and you look. And of course, hopefully everybody understands the horrors of the Holocaust. 6 million people murdered. 6 million people murdered senselessly. Just so evil, so cruel. And I mean, it's informative. There's all sorts of storytelling along the way, but there's also endless photos and video of decent people being uh, stripped naked and marched into facilities to be gassed. First they're starved, they're imprisoned, and then they're stripped naked and dehumanized, and then they're walked into chambers and murdered. And there's so many pictures and videos. And I'm sorry if this is bothering anybody, but I'm not afraid to talk about difficult things. There's layers and layers of hundreds of bodies. And it's just so heartbreaking, just heartbreaking. And I think everybody should endure that suffering, that punishment of reading the stories and hearing the firsthand accounts and learning, because of course that's how you prevent something like this from happening again. But I got a little more than halfway through it, and if all the rest wasn't bad enough, there's a section, and it's just a little section talking about how their evil scientists were using children to run experiments on. And they had video footage of these little boys that were just naked and starved and just standing there naked. And they were being, guinea pigs for all these sick and demented scientific experiments. Oh, it just broke me, as if all of it wasn't bad enough. You get there and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. So this is the worst endorsement of anything, but please, please, if you go to Washington, D.C., please go to that museum. I think it's necessary for everybody to know the difference, and maybe make good decisions based off the information that you have, make good decisions based off of history. And yeah, that's excruciating and necessary. So kudos to everyone who had the stomach and the creativity to put that museum together in such a beautiful way. But wow, just wow. It was hard. It was hard, but again, necessary. And I imagine so many people feel the same way when they go into the 9/11 museum in New York. If you're an adult listening to this, you probably experienced 9/11 and have it in memory. And it's just, oh, punishing. And all I kept thinking is, how do you go back and undo this? Right? Where's my magic wand? How do I fix that? How do I undo it? And of course we can't. But yeah, you can prevent stuff like that from happening again. In fact, I went to dinner with one of my best friends from childhood in Connecticut last week, and she's Jewish. And we were talking about, I told her I was going to go to the Holocaust Museum, and she was talking about all the things going on in America and around the world today. And she said she and one of her Jewish girlfriends were talking and saying, which one of our friends would hide us? Who would hide us if we needed to be hidden, much like Anne Frank's family? And so just what? So confusing that in 2025 those are conversations that are still going on. But anyways, that was that, and I highly recommend the horrible, agonizing, painful museum, because it really is also very wonderful. And we will be right back. Wouldn't it be fun to feel like a celebrity on race day? Imagine if all the spectators between the start and finish line were calling your name. Well, they would if they could, and that's why you have to tell them by ordering the Name Bib Kit at penandpaces.com. It's a waterproof, tear-proof bib. You can put it on your chest. It comes with 2 sets of alphabet stickers for you to write your name. And so as you cruise on by, everyone can say, "Go Katie, go Jamal, go Susie," whoever you are, they're going to cheer for you. I promise. It's a special way to race. I ran the Boston Marathon with my name on my sports bra. It felt like everybody in the town of Boston was cheering, "Go Fitz." And I want that for you too. So head on over to penandpaces.com right now, order your race bib, and have the time of your life. We're back. So I get out of there, and I feel like I've been kicked in the gut about 57 times. And I go to my car, and backtracking, I go to my car, and of course, there's a ticket on the windshield. It's $100 ticket. And I thought, oh, well. My instinct was, oh, well, it's not that. We talk about perspective all the time. compared to what those 6 million people during the Holocaust and all of our soldiers, the international soldiers, those freedom fighters, what they endured. Who effing cares about $100 parking ticket, right? I mean, was I going to cry? Well, it's $100. I don't care if I was homeless on the side of the street and I owed someone $100 compared to the Holocaust. Psh, chump change, right? So I got the ticket. I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to complain. And then I looked at the sign next to the sign. So I read a sign that said parking 8 to 4. And I really thought, wow, this meter maid caught me. I mean, she must have been there a second after I walked away. Well, there's another sign a few feet over from the original sign I saw that said, also pay for rush hour parking, which is between 4 and 6:30. In my mind, I just thought, why not make the sign say from 8 to 6:30, you got to pay for parking? Why have two different signs? Because if I'm reading the one sign, then I'm going to go by that. So, anyways, that was stupid. That was stupid of them, also stupid of me. So, $100 parking ticket, I've already paid it, and I don't care. I don't care. I'm not a rich girl, but whatevs, right? Compared to the Holocaust. So maybe use that perspective. Something goes wrong in your life, and you think how much better you have it than those folks in 1940-ish, right? So I go from there and I did go over to Lincoln Memorial and I went over to the Korean Memorial and I just love Lincoln. Lincoln is someone, that statue, I crave that. I yearn for that statue every so long. And when I have a DC trip planned, all of a sudden my body starts needing to get to Lincoln, much like I would need to get to my kids when I'm away from them. I need to get to that statue. And it just, feels like such a breath of fresh air. And that was a really good choice for me after that Holocaust museum because Lincoln, put a smile on my face and kind of lightened my heart a little bit. And it's just so beautiful. I love him. I love his hands. If you go to the Lincoln Memorial, look at his hands. One is resting over the armrest and one is curled up in a fist. And I don't know, it just mesmerizes me. It's just concrete. It's a big slab of concrete, but this very special man who I also was thinking when I was in the Holocaust Museum, how I wished they had an Abraham Lincoln to protect them, right? Someone to free them, to help them. So I just love it. I love it. And then it was dusk and it was crisp air and there were so many people uh, cruising around up and down the stairs to see him. But you know what I want when I get there? I want to climb up into his lap. That's actually what I feel. And that could be the story I make it into the newspaper where they say Florida woman arrested for climbing into Abraham Lincoln's lap. And just so you know, folks, if I could get up there, I would have done it. It's just too big, but in my heart, I'm scaling the Lincoln Memorial, getting into his lap. I just want to sit there. It's probably the stupidest urge anyone's ever had, but I really want it. So take that and do whatever you need to with it. But I really wish I could sit in Abraham's lap. So I don't know. I guess I can't. That's just that. And it's probably disrespectful, but my heart is in the right place. So it would be a lot of fun for me. Also, they are renovating the space below the memorial. There's this huge section of, I guess, empty space below where you have to climb a bunch of stairs to get to Lincoln. So underneath, they're creating a historical museum and putting a store and toilets and things down there. So I think that should be done in the summer of 26. So a fine reason to go visit Washington, D.C. Two fine reasons so far. And then I cruised over to the Korean Memorial. And if you've ever been there, that's awesome. If you haven't, it's probably about 20 statues of our soldiers and they're marching through what you would imagine. Like in my mind, it looks like a Vietnam scene because I guess I'm a little more familiar with Vietnam. I've seen so many movies on the Vietnamese War, but yeah, they're soldiers and it looks like they're wearing coats and they've got guns and hats and they're marching through a field and looking various ways. Oh, it's just so cool, but they're huge. They're huge. They're not the size of normal men. They're quadruple men. They're big and oh, it's fantastic. And I've been there at day and I've been there at dusk. And if you go at night, they're lit from underneath. It's very spooky and I don't know, just the emotions in DC are pretty rich, especially if you're a patriot or even if you're not American, if you respect freedom and you appreciate all the effort that has gone into making so many of us free today, whether you're in America or England or whatever. It's just, I think most folks in the world can have a deep appreciation for the men and women in uniform who've served this country and the world. And wow, just that's so great. So I did Lincoln in Korea, and then I got in my car, so I didn't get another ticket, and I went to my hotel in Maryland, but I was super cool. So my girl this weekend was spectacular. I think we had about, I don't know, 12,000 athletes and just happy faces. They were good. They were good. They were crazy. I got a bit crazy with them, and I work hard. It's hours on it. It's 8 hours on Saturday and 7 hours on Sunday in the hot, blazing sun. And we're dancing and running around. I just put a lot of effort. I'm exercising vigorously the whole time. And it feels to me, did you ever go to summer camp when you were a kid? I always went to soccer camp. And so I was Fort Lauderdale in July, which was blazing hot. And I'd be out in the summer heat, exercising, playing soccer for 5, 6 hours. And I would come home just beat red and sweaty and stinky. And it was fantastic. That's how Mud Girl feels to me. I feel like I'm at summer camp. And again, thankfully, I'm built for the heat, so I can handle it. But I have to guzzle, 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 and spray sunscreen. And apparently now I have to bring bug spray too, because I was eaten up by bugs while I was there, which I didn't even realize was happening at the time. There were big kind of bee creatures flying around my stage, which scared me and some of the ladies that were up front sometimes. But anywho, summer camp. I think everybody should go out and do that stuff, even if you're gardening for a few hours. It just, I don't know, it makes me feel young. The other thing that makes me feel like a kid is running through the rain. So either or, just exercising in the sun, running through the rain. It's good for your soul, good for your body. I met a lovely lady. Her name was LaDawn. I randomly brought her up to the stage. I don't know how it happened, but she told me that she had stage 4 breast cancer that had spread to her spine, and now she's 3 years cancer free. Incredible, just incredible. Because you hear stage 4, which usually means it's never going away, but hers went away, and she's good. She's good. LaDawn, what a sweet angel woman. I loved her, and yeah, it's horrible to know she went through that, but so wonderful to know she's cancer free now and doing great. And so, folks, if you have a friend, a loved one, or yourself, or you're diagnosed and you hear stage 4, okay, scary, scary. It'll scare the bejesus out of you. But from what I've been told from some oncology professionals is, if the type of cancer is treatable by a particular type of chemo or treatment, treating it in multiple places, which is how they'd stage it. So maybe it's in your breast and your liver, or your esophagus and your lungs. The same drug that will treat it in your esophagus as stage 2 will also treat it in your lungs. So stage 4 isn't always a death sentence. In fact, I know plenty of people who are stage 4, had stage 4 cancer, and are living large and well long after their diagnosis. So thrilled with Dawn. I had Coach Walter from Butterfly Effect Fitness Studio in Delaware join me. He's usually, what happens each weekend is they bring in a local fitness center, and they'll provide, they're able to set up a tent and woo customers, local customers, if they'd like to come work out at that fitness facility. But they'll bring out one of their exercise instructors or coaches, whatever you want to call it. And I can bring those people up on my stage to do a little warm up, which gives me a little break to get some water or sunscreen. And it's just another bit of engagement for our athletes. And so we had Coach Walter this weekend, and he was also with us, I think, in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago. But great guy, big, muscular, fun man. The ladies loved him, and just a pleasure. Nice to get to work with some other fitness folks I admire and respect. He seems like he's on the right track, and we had a lot of fun. But yeah, Mud Girl DC was a blast. I hope you all will look at my race announcing schedule. It's on Fitzness.com. It's easy to find, but I'd love for you to come see me. And with Mud Girl, yes, it's called Mud Girl, but legally we can't exclude anybody. So my guy friends, if you wanted to come out and run, you could, or you could volunteer, or you could just take me to dinner, whatevs. Yeah, I'm hoping to see everybody, because I'll be in all of the places this year. I'll literally be everywhere, which is crazy. and we will be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback Series by Fitz Kohler offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and The Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit Fitzness.com today. That's Fitzness.com. Fitzness.com.
We're back. Okay, now I'm going to go to my next stupid mistake. Are you ready to hear what a dummy I am? So I'm checking out. I check out of my hotel on Sunday. I do the race. I run back. And ladies, I'm going to brag. I had 3 p.m. checkout because I had late checkout. Lucky me. But I had to be out at 3. I arrived at 2:33. Now, mind you, I stunk to high hell. Not only was I stinky from my own sweat and stuff, but some guy, one of the spectators, had horrific BO, and he gave me a hug. And it was my left arm went under his armpit as we hugged. And then his BO got on my left arm. It was there. He walked away, and his stinky armpit smell was still on my arm. And you know what? Bless his heart. It was hot. Everybody should have been stinky and sweaty. So I don't blame him. I'm not accusing him of being dirty or bad or anything. He was out there and he was stinky. He was stinky and he hugged me. And then so I have all his stinky BO on my left arm. And trust me, sometimes I probably don't smell good. I never smell like that. That thing that was on me was not Fitz Kohler smell. So I go over to the cooler in our DJ tent and I get ice. I'm trying to use what I can to get the stinky smell off, and I just can't get it off me. And so I was driving as quickly as I could I had a 45-minute drive from the Mud Girl to my hotel so I could get a shower before I had to get on the plane. Can you imagine going with this stinky arm the whole day? So anyways, I race up to my hotel, and it's 2:33. I have exactly 27 minutes to get cleaned up, get dressed, and get the hell out of there. And so I did it. I was surprised. And I wasn't going to wash my hair because my hair takes a long time to dry. But I did. I got in the shower and I thought it all has to be done. And I washed off the BO on my arm, which was so relieving. And then I actually washed and conditioned my hair. And I am freaking proud. I blow dried the hair. I got it totally dry. I got my makeup on, which, as you know, isn't elaborate, but whatever, still my face, making it better. And I got dressed. And at 2:57, I was able to get down on the ground and do a couple stretches. And at 3:00, the housekeeper knocked on the door. I get out of there and I said, I'm ready. But yeah, in 20 something minutes, I took a full shower, dried my hair, makeup, dress, and I should win some sort of prize for that. So I don't know what kind of prize you have, but you should send it to me, or at least send me a congratulations card, because wow, I didn't even know I could do it. I thought for certain I was going to go out into society looking like a complete ragamuffin, which would have been fine as long as I didn't smell like BO, somebody else's BO on my arm. But okay, so I get out of there feeling so cocky, and I go across the street. I drive my little rental SUV over to the gas station and fill up, because you got to do that, right? And then I also go through the car to get out any trash. I got a can of Diet Coke. I got some napkins, whatever. I just want to clean it up so it's clean before I return it. And so I do that. And then I put the gas thing back in the pump. I get in the car and I drive, and I pull out on the road and I hear a thump, thump. And I look back and my freaking luggage is in the middle of the road. I have a pink wheelie bag and it's just out there in the middle of the road. I forgot to shut the hatch in the back of the SUV. I just left it totally open and my luggage flew out. So that's a crazy thing. And I was about to get on the highway. So I make a quick U-turn. I'm able to pull up. Thankfully, some dude in a big old F-150 or whatever, some giant truck comes behind me. He put on his flashers. I couldn't even find the flashers in my rental car. I was in a panic trying to put it in gear, park, and then go get the luggage. I couldn't find the flashers. So he pulled behind and protected me, which I really appreciate. I was right in front of Joint Force Base Andrews. I think that's how you say it. And I'm sure he was probably some military guy laughing his tail off at the dumb blonde who's lost her pink luggage in the middle of the road. But my laptop was in there. I mean, I can only imagine what would have happened if some car would have came and whacked it, and there would have been my laptop and some thong underwear all over the place in Maryland. So I felt very, very grateful that I was able to gather it in one piece. It wasn't cracked. I put it in the car, I shut the hatch, and made my way to the airport like a like a grown-up would. So super proud of myself. But I do dumb things. Don't we all? We all do dumb things. I'm just grateful I don't beat myself up over it, or I would never be happy, right? Because I'm always doing another dumb thing. And I do a lot of really smart, important things, and I'm really nice. But I do a lot of really dumb things because I move really fast and I always have so many things on my mind. And so you're bound to screw up sometimes. And boy, did I ever. I was very fortunate that I got away with that. So, anyways, that's what I had to tell you about my weekend. Now we're going to go to the Q's and the A's because I love Aing your Q's. So, I put some questions. I put a post up on Instagram and said, ask me any questions. And I got some. So, Dennis Sieb on Instagram, he asked me, he says, you mentor, and inspire so many. Who is your mentor or inspiration? That's very kind of you to say. I definitely work hard to try to help and guide as many people as possible, Dennis, but I don't know if I inspire anybody, but thank you. So, you know what? I would say, obviously, Rudy Novotny, he's been a mentor for me in race announcing, not only with the skill of announcing, he's the one who got me into this career, but he's given me such great guidance, and he gives me legal advice and business advice and financial advice, and he's just there for me, and I'm forever grateful for that. He's just such a wonderful gift in my life for so many reasons. So certainly Rudy. And then the other person, I mean, up until Rudy, I don't think I ever had a mentor, like someone who just cared about my business and checked on me and was really involved. I've had some wonderful people that have been willing to share advice, starting with this guy, Mike Sawyer, who owned the gym where I trained when I was a kickboxer. He's the first person when I was 20. He said, are you incorporated? I said, no. He said, you need to incorporate your business. So if somebody's going to sue you, they sue your business, not you personally. I went, oh, okay. And that's where Fitzness was born. I incorporated Fitzness International LLC based off of Mike Sawyer's advice. So that was really good. My girlfriend, Vicky Canto, she owned a spa salon in town. But fierce businesswoman. And she's been someone I could call and ask for support. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Joe Cerulli, who's the owner, creator of Gainesville Health and Fitness Center. He also was the president of IRSA, the worldwide president of IRSA, which is the International Health and Racket Sports Association. Joe is a god in the fitness industry. And not only does he help me, but he guides so many gym owners around the world, and selflessly too. He's superb. But I used to work for Joe, and he's just kind. I remember soon after I stopped working for him, I was out on my own. I mean, Joe could have considered me competition because I was a personal trainer in town. He never ever did. And you know what? When I was personal training, he's got thousands of members. I had, I don't know, 10 clients or whatever. So he never looked at me or probably any other fitness professionals in town as a threat. But I remember being hired to write articles for a company. I forget what its name was, but it was a guy who said, hey, I love your writing, and I'd like to hire you to write articles for me. And my articles will appear on gym websites, and I'll pay you $1 a word. Great. That's a great paycheck for a writer. And especially if you write an article, that's 1,000 words. It's $1,000, right? And so I wrote quite a few for this guy who had an account. He actually had sold his services to Gainesville Health and Fitness Center. So this guy was stiffing me. I would call and say, are you going to pay me? And it's like, oh, eventually. And then finally he said, no, I'm not going to pay you. And so I went to the gym just to exercise, and I saw Joe, and I said, Joe, do you have a minute to share? And I told him, I said, I have this guy. He's actually, you use his service, but he agreed to pay me this. I did the work, and he lives in Canada. Do I have any recourse? And Joe said, I'll get back to you. And about an hour later, I got an email from the Canadian guy who was stiffing me that said, your check will be in the mail and you'll receive it 3 days. So Joe made a phone call on my behalf, and he's always been there for guidance and support. And how fortunate for me, right? How absolutely fortunate. So I don't use that too much, but I love having him there. I love having some really smart people in my corner, and sometimes things do hit the fan. It looks always, I think, like things are rosy here at Fitzness, but sometimes I have to deal with mean people or people doing illegal things against my company, and I have to figure it out. And so it certainly helps to have people that have been through it, that are a little wiser and more experienced than myself. So yeah, those are my mentors or inspirations. I just love those folks, and I would do anything for them in return. Okie dokie. Will Gain Weight from Instagram tells me he's running a 5K for breast cancer and asked if I had any outfit suggestions. Yes, Will. Anything that's pink, just pink, 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 pink shirt, pink shorts, pink pants, pink socks, pink shoes, pink headband, pink barrettes, pink bow, pink tutu, pink raincoat, pink, 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 anything pink. And it doesn't even have to match. You can just look like the pink fairy vomited on you, all the pink stuff, and then it works. You can put pink spray in your hair and pink makeup on your face. And I mentioned to him that he might want to get a bra, and he went for a sports bra. What I think is great at these breast cancer runs of all sorts is when people get a like a real bra. You can get it at Walmart or Victoria's Secret or Goodwill, who cares? But the kind with underwire, a real stiff bra with for big boobs, and then bedazzle them. Put glitter or rhinestones or bows or whatever. Just jazz up that bra and wear it. You know, if you're a big dude, you can get a extender strap in the back if you can't find a bra with a rib cage large enough for your rib cage. But yeah, it's always very fun when men show up in the glittery bras and tutus. Although here's the thing, I don't find it sexy, right? Some women are like, ooh, he's wearing the tutu. I don't. Not that you're trying to be sexy while out running the breast cancer thing. I don't, I don't know. I see guys in skirts. I'm like, whatever, but it's fun, right? And that's the whole purpose. So forget about the sexy comment. You just do you. You put on a pink bra over a pink running singlet, and you get like a pink thong, and you put it over pink sweatpants. And the crazier you get, the better. And then bring your dog with some sort of pink paraphernalia too, because that makes it even better. Okay. Dawn Ryder on Instagram asked me, what is my daily menu? It's pretty simple stuff. I keep lots of fruit and veggies in the house, and then I eat a lot of them, a lot of berries. I love blueberries and raspberries, and I will go through a pint or a container of each every day. A banana, always, sometimes an apple, often tomatoes. I just cut them up and add a little salt and eat them. And what else? I have black beans a lot. So my protein sources come from edamame and cashew and walnuts and peanuts and pistachios. I love nuts, and definitely beans. And I like soy products. I like soy chicken or veggie burgers. And what else? A lot of potatoes. I eat a lot of potatoes, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes. My baked potatoes, I just throw in the microwave for 8 minutes, and then boom, that's what I had for dinner tonight. Sometimes French fries, woo, and always a piece of chocolate and a lot of water, some hot tea, decaf, and then sometimes decaf Diet Coke. Okay, that's my daily menu. And then and then I like broccoli and carrots and cauliflower and squash and zucchini. And so I try to blend that stuff in there. But yeah, I have this kind of standard, I think everybody does, where they eat kind of the same thing and with different sauces. And that's what I get. That's what I get. But yeah, I'm pretty simple and straightforward. And I'm a vegetarian. If you didn't know that, I'm a vegetarian. Okie dokie. Marissa has a great question, I think anybody and everybody can benefit from. She says she wakes up extremely hungry in the middle of the night. Not every night, but at least a couple of times a week, which is concerning. I feel like it's causing me to gain weight. What could that mean for my nutrition? So yeah, eating in the middle of the night won't particularly make you gain weight. Weight gain comes and weight loss comes from calories in versus calories out. And so if your caloric budget, if you're using the exact formula for weight loss, which is just learning how to eat the right amount of the right food for the size you want to be, and you can learn about that. It's right on the cover of Fitzness.com. You can also listen to the previous episodes of the Fitzness Show designated to the exact formula for weight loss. But if your daily caloric intake is, say, 1,700 calories, it doesn't matter if you're eating those calories at noon or at midnight or 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. It's just the accumulation, 1,700 calories. So perhaps you could do a couple of things. You could fill up on more fibrous products and protein. They are the nutrients that will keep you fuller longer. They will make you full now and keep you fuller longer. So protein and fiber, maybe that means you make sure you have a bunch of broccoli and onions and peppers and squash for dinner. And if you eat meat, maybe chicken or shrimp or whatever, those, or beans or nuts, protein, fiber, those will keep you fuller longer. But maybe you just reserve an extra 100 calories for you to eat a banana at 2 a.m. And there's the thing, at 2 a.m., if you get up and you're hungry, don't grab Cheetos or don't grab ice cream, don't grab a chocolate bar, grab a banana. You can have a snack in the middle of the night. I do. I can only eat small amounts of food after chemo. For some reason, my tummy is so small. My stomach is so small, I should say. I feel like someone who's had lap band surgery. Like I can just only fit so much in my stomach, which means I'm going to get hungry sooner than I would if I were eating a whole bunch, right? And so sometimes I get hungry at midnight. I go out to the counter. That's right. I go straight out to the counter where my food is, and I peel a banana and I eat it, or I peel a tangerine and I eat it. So yeah, as long as you're consuming those 1,700 calories in that 24-hour period, you're good. It doesn't matter if you're eating in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day. So perhaps you reserve some calories for later, and again, fill up on fiber and protein before you go to bed. Oh, okay. I love your questions. Thank you. Keep them coming. And I'm going to use some of them for my daily pokes, or they're not going to be daily pokes, but my poke episodes, which I'm really excited about. Our song of the week, Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter. Well, isn't she adorable? She's a cute little pop star. I think it's a song in the summer. Man-Child. Gentlemen, don't be offended. It's, I don't know. I love men. Love me some men, but this song is great. Man-Child, you should listen to it. Add it to your playlist for when you're shooting hoops, or you're treading water in the pool, or you're planking. That's right. When you're doing your planks, you should listen to Man-Child and sing along. Oh, and the video is so freaking cute. So go on YouTube and watch Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter. And I think if you watch the video, you'll even like the song even more. And then this is my communication tip for the show. Are you ready? Lean in, folks. Don't Botox too hard. That's right. I see some folks doing too much Botox, and it's the frozen face thing. People should know if you're happy or you're sad or you're angry. And if your face won't move, they may not be able to gather those signals, those very important signals from you. So if you Botox, just try not to go overboard with it, because we see a bit of that, right? We think, how does that person feel? I don't know. Maybe you're trying to share your affection for somebody and they think you're scared. Maybe they think you're scared because you can't move your face. So that's it. My communication tip of the week is don't Botox too hard. All right, friends, if you haven't done so yet, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Tune in for the pokes. I'm really excited about those. And then, of course, if you want any of my books right now on Fitzness.com, if you use the discount code free ship, you get free shipping. And that's really nice on some big, heavy books. I love you. Get to work. Bye, team. Mwah.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to give the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Kohler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school, or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.